Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. It's going to be the daily news today. I'm going to start off with the event and Prizewall breakdown, and then we'll get into the daily news. Special thanks to Scotty again for doing this week. Super big help, Scott. Really appreciate it. So a couple things to note, and this is really important. The numbers are based off of the Discord information that we get now, which is what we get instead of the blog. And one of them is a million different than it always is. The tour one here, if you notice, solo points 6.263 per Discord may actually be 5.263 million based on past months. I think that is extremely likely, by the way. I think it is much more likely that it's 5.2 million than 6.2. So just be aware of that it's likely a million points less on this total down here. But we are going off of the Discord notes that Scopely gives us, like always. Also, the Blitz one, the Blitz bags, they had that wrong on the previous one on the Discord. If you remember that breakdown, and it ended up being the points were the same as the month before. So I would expect this to be the same this month. So plan or that you're gonna get 5.2 and then be pleasantly surprised if you get a million more points than you think. From the tours. Okay. CSS or Haku, he's worth 2.25 if you get him. Alistair Black is worth 200,000. Rusev's worth 175,000. Faction contest gives you 4.7 million. Midweek showdown up to 900,000. It's league placement dependent, meaning, you know, like I got 600,000 for mine. I finished third. Right, so depending where you finish and what league you're in is how much you get. So you're going to add that to your total. Free portal claim 300,000, total 11.263 million. So we'll just call that 10.263 million is what I would assume to be safe, right? Plus your CSS, plus your showdown, right? That assumes you max everything, though, and Discord being accurate. So just plan on it being like a mil. I'll assume it's a mil less, and then we'll be pleasantly surprised. So let's look at the faction event while we're talking about it. This is worth noting. If your faction gets the final milestone, it's huge. You get an RNG bag that makes or breaks your prize wall. If your faction doesn't max this, it's a very, very rough event, and then your RNG determines how great the prize wall is to you. Okay? So that's very important. If you're not in a faction that doesn't get this bag, you may want to look to get in one, but that also means you have to do a lot of work for boss. And a lot of people dislike that, so keep that in mind, right? Other bonus milestones of note, let's see, not really so much. There's no points in any of these, right? And generally, it's not super hard comparatively to get to the last rank. So your faction points, you only need to get to 10 of the 50 million. Much more achievable. Most factions should get there. As far as the faction points, Haku is going to be the hardest one, as well as probably, yeah, Haku will be the hardest one. The rest of them are pretty doable, except someone has to bite the bullet and level Alistair Black to gold, and he's not good. Although he'll be decent, this boss. Decent. Not the hard carry though. So yeah, so the faction part looks fine, right? Looks pretty standard. Solo contest, right? There's Julia shards, but none of them until the bonus milestones. So bronze chest 9.8 here. So let's assume we can get to the 11.2, not 11.2, I mean 10.2, which seems much more accurate. Based on previous stuff, right? Especially considering showdown points work into this too. So it's just Alistair Black, and then 200 Haku though is nice, right? So if you can get there, definitely worth the 200 Haku. If it ends up being 11.2, it gets a lot better, right? You start getting, this is 20 Julia and 2,000 Prizewall currency, and this is why I don't think it will be. Because it never is where you're getting the bonus Prizewall currency. And then the 10.9, it's another 3,500, another 30 Julia, right? So I don't think that's going to happen. And then you'd have to, like, my showdown rewards, if it was 11.2, would get me all the way to here for another 5,000 Prizewall currency. That would be amazing. And if it is that way, then Scopely, this is a very good event, and thank you. Keep doing it. But for you guys planning, I don't think there's any way, because it's way far off the normal track, right? So just keep that in mind. So let's just assume 10.2 is the regular one, or instead of 11.2, and 10.2 does get you those Haku shards, but is it worth pushing beyond that? Yeah, the next milestone at 10.5 gives you 2,020 Julia shards, and it's not a huge leap, potentially, depending. Like your showdown score could easily get you here. It's 300,000 points to get you there. So that's a pretty good one. You shouldn't, if you played showdown at all and you're in a higher league, you shouldn't really have to push too much to get there. And so definitely worth it. In my case, I finished third, only 600,000 points. I go from 10.2 to almost here. It'd definitely be worth me doing a small push for this, probably, depending on the prize wall and what I want, right? So I do think that there's some decent milestones worth obtaining, and then of course as you go they get better, right? It starts to get really hard. Like 12.7 milestones pretty hard to get, but that's 300 Haku shards, so obviously if you can get there, all right. All right, and a lot of prize wall coins, and then the 15 million is just your whaling, so whatever. Right? So the milestones aren't bad, assuming you do all the stuff. So let's take a look at the prize wall coins. 1,000 free, that's from tours, typically based on previous months. We don't know that for a fact. Scott's guessing, not really guessing, it's what we got before. So free solo, 3,700. Bonus solo free-ish, 5.5K up to 10.9 million milestone. That assumes there's actually 6 million in tours though, and not 5 million. So I don't think it's going to happen. So this is, you take these 2,000 off and it's really more like 3,500 instead of 5.5. So on the free-ish part, if things don't go right, assume 10,200, right? Instead of 10,200. And then up to 5,000 in faction leaderboard. I didn't look at that. Let's take a look at that. And it drops off pretty fast, right? So just figure like, find out where your faction's gonna max, but figure like somewhere between, or gonna end up between 2,000 and 3,000, right? For that. So yeah. And then there's that RNG bag, like I said, is huge. Minimum of, was it 10K I thought this time? I think there 5K wasn't a thing. Let me look at that again. Yeah, they upped it to 10K. That's much, but the higher end is lower too. So they made it more consistent and then took out the higher end, which to be fair, I'm okay with. I never got anywhere over 25. I've never got over 25,000. So, you know, that upper end didn't really apply to me anyway. I'd rather take away the lower end, I feel like, but it is different. So 10,000 to 25,000. All right, so free-ish, 8.2K we're going to assume, and then minimum of, if your faction gets to the bag, 10K, you're looking at 18.2 there. That's not terrible if you can do everything, right? 18.2 is not terrible if you can do everything. So let's take a look at the prize wall. Of course, this all depends on being able to do everything, right? Let's take a look at the prize wall. See what we got there. So Haku's gear, 43,000. Just, you know, forget about it. Ring of Royalty, this one's okay. I like the color specific ones more in pretty much every case, to be honest. This just is useful in more places, but tends to not hit quite as hard. But it's a solid one. This is great. It's not, so I say it's great, and that's because you can use it on so many people. But 100% on multiply gems isn't wild or crazy. But the people you can use it on, it's usually very nice on. They typically already hit pretty hard, and then they hit even harder. So it's a nice plate, usable tons of places. This is much, much more impactful. Devon, Naya, Punk himself, if you want to use that build. Trick Live. No shortage of really good people for this color turn plate. Some people like it on Acro Seth, right? So blasting off, not a super fan of. Some people like it on Cody. It is what it is. It adds a reversal component to Cody, so I don't love that, right? Rainbow Reinforcement. Seems like we just had this on a prize wall. We did. But good price point for the rainbow. Definitely prefer it over the Dirty Deeds, 13K. This is going to be in a lot of people's range potentially. So put this on your radar. And oh, look at that. Right in that close range to even if you hit the minimum in your faction bag is the Devil's Drip. A lot of people have been asking about this because of the yeet plates and stuff. So I would put this fairly heavily on your radar at 18.8 if you don't have one. Black reinforcement plate seems kind of pricey to me. For what it does. 200% on black reinforced. Can't think of anyone I love it on. Yellow transfusion is great for Austin. This is actually something I'm looking at for myself, depending on how much I get. But this is, obviously I wouldn't mind a second one of these. And maybe even a second reinforced, but I also am eyeballing this for Austin because I put the rainbow one on Naomi. I kind of really like this price point because Striker Austin is very good if you have all of his stuff, and this is really nice on him at a relatively inexpensive price, right? So I like that. Also, the Botchman. If you're using Hall of Fame Lex and you got his moment and stuff, and the Botch anniversary plate, Botch slap 5,500 for the Rainbow Botch Ultimate. Yeah, I like that pricing a lot too, to be honest. For Rainbow, 5.5K. If you're a triple blue Tiffany user with the Leech Gems, maybe you're looking at this blue transfusion to go along with the Kamala plate, right? Again, really good price point. So I like this Prizewall on the lower end. These are okay-ish, right? These ones, when sometimes they're useful. And the price point's right, so I'm fine with getting those with kind of like your leftover stuff if you have currency. EO Sky is crazy expensive, however, it is 400 shards, which is a massive amount. SE Cena, 26K for 350, that's a big chunk, not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, is it only 5? 2, 3, 4, 5 star. I don't really like this at 5 star. I'm passing on this even on the free to play. If it was 6 star, much more enjoyable. This is, yeah, no, hard pass. Penta shards, 200 for 7,300. If you don't have Penta, good shot there. Don't mind the pricing there. Austin, again, continues to be super expensive, but at least it's 18,800 as opposed to the ton. It's just way less shards, so it's better than it has been with Austin, but still really dang expensive on the S tier there. Chase. So there's that. Straps, I don't like these pricing at all. There's so much stuff on this wall, I can't really get behind these. Attitude Era doesn't struggle for straps. He's Attitude Era. I hate the Gem Defense one at 100. I mean, a lot of people like Gem Defense builds, whatever. I'm sure some people are going to be super excited about this strap. Yeah, it's a no for me, dog. And then Econ on this wall, absolutely don't touch it. Like, there's so much better stuff than the Econ on this wall, in my opinion. Like, get the plates, yeah, 1,300, right? Like, I'm staying on every account, staying far away from the Econ. Far away. So yeah, just kind of recap the wall. I think it looks pretty decent. You have some pretty nice upper stuff, in particular these two things, and this is solid, but I don't think it's worth it. Like those. Blasting off, not as much, to be honest. I think these two are much better. Rainbow Reinforce, it's nice to have one. It's only 200%, so it's not as good as you might think. Just keep that in mind. JD Drip, really good in combo with the Yeet Plate that a lot of you now have, so, keep your eyeballs on that. Buzzard's Beaks, Showdown Prizewall, not a fan. Purple Blades for the Barber's Blades is okay. Not a bad price. If the purple traps, there's a lot of them. So that one's not bad that I didn't mention. But for me, like, I love these two. Universal at 5.5K. I'm going to give this I feel like I'm going to give this one maybe the best value on the wall of the plates. I really like it, honestly, at that price. I really like it. And if you are interested in using Striker Austin, in particular Striker Austin, though, he's best with the Anniversary Leech plate. That and this, the Bloodsucker, is really great combo. I really like that. And then for the bunch of Tiffany people that do the triple blue, I think this is solid too, as well. So I actually think it's a pretty dang good plate price wall. Is in that there's a lot of varied stuff at varied prices. So you should have some choices no matter where you end up. So I'm kind of a fan there. Shards, these are just so expensive. I don't think you get there mostly, but if you do, that's a really good chunk. I would rather they had half the amount and half the price, right? So like it was 175 for 13.6, and I'm sure that's by design, and 200 for 15 whatever that is. Right? The Penta shards, I think this is a great value though, right? I just posted a video on my Penta today. You want to check that out if you just got Penta gear. I like the kind of the cohesiveness of stuff that you may have just got, and then this Prizewall as well, right? So yeah, I like the Penta shard value actually quite a lot. I think it's really good for 200 shards. So yeah. And then Austin shards, it is what it is. At some point, I'll probably buy these on a wall. I've said that before, but I mean, not as much as I want a yellow transfusion plate for Austin, or a second one of these for sure. So probably won't be this one either, because especially if leftover, I can grab myself a second Universal Botchman one. The Universals are great because then you can use them anywhere. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid Prizewall. Stay away from the Econ though. Like, get those other plates and stuff. Just don't like it at all. Hate it all. Let me know what you guys think about the Prizewall. So let's get into the rest of the news. I could have probably just done my own video on this today, but I'm videoed out right now, guys. So I just figured I'd do this in the news in one. Okay, let's go to the store. You got your the daily claim is Hall of Fame Molly Holly, free to play. Super happy about this with your Blitz ticket. Good luck on your Blitz. So this is great. 20 pulls, $20, $1 a pull for the Haku loot. If you got first place in your showdown bracket, it makes it a mega. Otherwise, for everyone else, it's 20 pulls, $20. I might actually do this on Mherex. I'll think about it. If I do, I'll record it. I don't like the collector packs. I'm on record as that. Starter packs are fine. If you want to do a couple pulls, do a few rips, whatever. They're fine. Some TP coin in here, right? 4 pulls, 250 a pull. They're not as good as the other one, right? This is clearly the best value on the pulls. John Cena, 6-star silver veteran Cena salute. I don't mind this offer at all. Couple pulls with it. Don't mind that. Wow. Jesse the Body. Don't hate this with a couple pulls at silver, right? Faction boss special. What's this? 8 pulls. So yeah, if you need TP, if you're really starved for it, 8,000 TP with the 8 pulls isn't horrible. You're getting like 1 extra pull. Oh, Chaotic Striker shards. I don't think if that's a pain point for you, then that might be. I gotta say, I do like the assortment of the offers here better than normal. Here's 14,000 TP on 7 pulls. I feel like it's a better assortment than normal. I don't necessarily love them, right? To be honest, I don't necessarily love buying the offers. I don't want to say I do and encourage it. This one, no. Go to the portal and get if you're spending $100, go to the portal and get the featured one there. Comes with 100 Haku shards. Don't buy it in game or any of this stuff in game. Go get that on the portal, right? Special value. What are these? No, that's just 1 coin for $3. That's bad. 3 coins, 3. Yeah, we don't care about that. 3,100 TP. No, that's 333 a pull. Don't like that. I hate that. Whatever, no. So, some guaranteed shards, if that recruits it and you were going to spend 100 anyway, I guess they're fine, but 85 and 115. 115 for Gunther's a little better, actually. If it gets them for you, fine, right? Jacob, no, this is bad now. They sold him straight for $20. So if you were going to do this, you should have just bought him, right? Takers, fine-ish. See if we get lucky on the free-to-play. Yep, it's fine. So yeah, just to recap, let me pick my big winners from this, because I do think there's some good assortments. Like on newer accounts, let me stress, I really like these that get you to silver at a cheap price if you're spending, right? So I like those there. The starter packs are fine. This one I think is good, right? You're getting $1 a pull on the weekend one. That's definitely cheaper than usual on the weekend. So that's going to get you, if we want to know how many event points that $20 will get you, a pull is worth 12,500. So 20 times 12,500. 250k points for 20 bucks is what that's giving you. And then if you weren't doing any pulls, then it's 350k points. So you can use that to figure out, you know, if 20 bucks is worth it to where you'd get on the contest wall, right? So that one's a decent offer. And that's probably the one I would pick, right? If you're going to spend 20, that's the one to pick. If you're going to spend 100, it's on the portal with the 100 shards of Haku that comes with it and 100,000 solo points. Pretty easy. Intermediate ones, it's, you know, you do you, boo. So that's the offers. And then as long as we're in here, let's just check the loot, get done with that, and then we'll look at the tours real quick. So a featured 40 pull is 4 featured, and a mega 1 guaranteed mega rare on a 7 pull. Kind of like keep these in mind as we're looking at this. So featured, most people are going to want to go for Haku, right? Otherwise 1% chance, so less than 50-50 if you do if you were to do 40 single pulls. Less than 50% of the time would you even hit one of the featured, which includes shards, right? So not great there. Mega rare has an 18% chance by default, rare 31, and common 50%. Okay, so this is fine. This is a normal weekend one, 300 to 600 shards. You're going to get 4 of them. 30 to 600 shards. You're going to get 4 of them, so you're probably looking at 120 to 200 shards per mega for Haku, unless you get lucky. You can also snag the gear, but that's pretty standard on a mega for these, somewhere between 120 to 200. Probably more like 150 to 220, I would say, would be average. But of course, you know, you can hit the bottom of the barrel, or you could also hit the jackpot, right? But most of the time, expect about 150 to 175 shards for your 100 bucks. Mega rares. This is interesting because you get a guaranteed mega rare with a 7 pull. There's some Drews in there. So 2 good ones, 2 not great. I mean, Bossman's great, but you already have him most likely. Yeah, there's a lot of not good stuff in here mixed with the good stuff. These ones always scare me, right? Because there's all this stuff that's not great, and then they have some really shiny things in there to distract you. And I feel like the weight on these is going to be pretty dang terrible. Just a heads up. There's some really... Yeah, I don't like the mega rare. I don't like 7 pulls on this loot, by the way. I'd probably do singles and shoot for the rare category because of the shards. Also, like, Muda's in here, Ilya in the rare. I would probably do singles and just hope to hit rares over a 7 pull. But your shards here, Muscle Man, freaking Rollins, if you still don't have Chain Gang, right? CM Punk, JBL, Taker, right? Those aren't bad. And that's a 31% clip rate on the shards there. Commons, usually commons aren't great. I've actually seen a couple people post that they got this from the common loot, by the way. That's the only place he is, in Vizcina. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but if it is, cool. And then really solid shards in the commons, to be honest, right? Like right here, those are all good shards. NOD Rock, Muda shards, Dirty Dom, Monster Bomb, those aren't terrible for what they are. I mean, like, honestly, other than the mega rare, I kind of like this loot. I like the common pool, and I like the rare pool, and I just don't like the mega rare pool. That's actually the one I would try to avoid. I would do all single pulls, or 40. If you have a 40, obviously do the 40. Otherwise, do single pulls and avoid the mega rare. That's the way I look at it, personally. Take that for what it's worth. Anyway, it's not a terrible loot. You know where you can get in the milestones, have a really good idea. There's no reason to rush with spending today. You can do your spending the last day after you know where you're going to end up. See if it gets you stuff from the store or milestones, that sort of thing. As far as the tours go, don't forget to do your speed tour. And then before the end of the weekend, get your Rusev tour done and that stuff. You can see I still have to do that. I should have done the first node before reset. That's like 15,000 keys for the week that I missed out on for the faction event on the free-to-play. Gosh dang it. Whatever. So 24-hour tour, if you do recruit him early, 2,000 bonus shards for taking him up. Some striker tokens. Yay. What are they giving you here? 20. Okay. So you can probably get his gear if you recruit him today, as long as your faction doesn't crap the bed. You'll probably get his gear as well, if that's what you really want from the Prizewall, which I didn't typically talk about his gear there, but 45,000 is a big pill to swallow when you could get a bunch of other stuff on the wall. So I'm not even sure what I would do if I got him and then had to choose, to be honest. So I guess I kind of skipped over that in the whatever. So any Cena here, not any Cena, actually, it's these Cenas here, and they're selling the 6-star silver one for $10. Okay, I see what they're doing there. I don't hate it though. That's not bad requirements on the Cena tour. Challenge tour. Okay, this one sucks. Pretty bad. It's a challenge tour that, can you use anyone though? Okay, never mind. I take it back. I don't need to do the CSS. As long as it's open, I'm good with that. Right? The CSS, 1000 TP there, whatever. I'm fine missing that. It's just nice to be able to play the challenge tour, and if it's open, you can play it. Otherwise, you can't. Miss 500 there. And yeah, it's probably not worth it to buy a 6-star silver Jesse Ventura for $10 for that and a 500 thing, right? So that's fine. And then what do we got here? Striker. Okay. And here we have also Striker, but what is required in the nodes? Can I see Striker here too? New gen required. Wow, this sucks. Oh, you can use any new gen. It doesn't have to be Striker. Okay, well that's a little better then. That's fine. I don't have an issue with it, I guess. New gen's kind of weak, but there's Rick Steiner exists, so if you want to put the effort into it, you can at least get them with the Stunlock build set. It's going to take forever, but at least they're giving you an avenue, so it is what it is. I'm fine with it. Yeah, they're fine. They look fine. They've been worse. They've been where the free-to-play has no chance at doing any of them, so I think that's it for the news. Again, my brain is not braining today, guys. I honestly don't think I'm going to get a boss prep battle video done. This boss looks rough. I'll try. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll do it, but no promises, no guarantees. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. Oh, yeah, brain not braining. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully this is okay.